Alright, so today we are going to do a Spider-Man movie tier list. I figured now would be a sorta somewhat decent time to do like a Spider-Man kind of video because Spider-Man 2, the game's releasing in like a couple weeks. So I figured I'd ride the hype train. I am so excited for that game, genuinely. Just looking at the trailers, it's gonna be so good. And I have been a Spider-Man fan for like pretty much as long as I've been alive, so I think I'm the most qualified person to do this kind of list. I mean, I'm not like a mega fan. I haven't like read all the comics, watched every interview with Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland or whatever. I just watch the movies, play some of the games, enjoy. That's really all you ever need to do. So anyway, let's get started with this list. So, of course, we have to start off with Tobey, one of the best one of the best, like we have multiple, we have three. He's my second favorite. A huge disclosure, I'm an Andrew Garfield fan here. He's my favorite Spider-Man, and people are definitely gonna hate on me for that, but I was an Andrew Garfield fan before it was cool. I remember when No Way Home came out, it was No Way Home, yeah. When No Way Home came out, everyone was like, oh, I love Andrew, he was such a good Spider-Man, why didn't he come back for Task 3? It's like, all of you hated him when his movies came out. Now you're just pretending to like him because he was recently in a movie. I remember I watched the first Amazing Spider-Man movie and I was like, that was amazing. No pun intended, like, it was such a good movie, and Andrew does such a good job. I love Andrew Garfield. But anyway, talking about Tobey here. So, Spider-Man 1, it's a classic. You can't go wrong with the original Spider-Man. The swinging was cool. I think Willem Dafoe does a great job as Green Goblin. I love Willem Dafoe. He does a good job. Tobey Maguire does a good job as Peter Parker. This might trigger some people. I'm gonna give it the A tier. I do really like Spider-Man 1, because I used to watch Spider-Man 1 all the time when I was a kid. If I was watching a movie, it would probably be Spider-Man 1. So it does hold a special place in my heart. The only thing is, Spider-Man 2 exists, and as you should all know, I'm gonna put Spider-Man 2 in the S tier. It's like one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. You know, what was his name? Albert Molina? Yeah, Albert Molina. I feel like I'm getting his name wrong. Albert Molina. That was his name, right? Alfred. My bad. I'm so sorry. Alfred Molina does such a good job as Otto Octavius, and like that ending bit when they're in like the abandoned like warehouse or whatever, when the thing he invented is like sucking in all the metal, and then he's like talking to his arms like, you listen to me now. That was like such a good scene. And just the story was really good too, and just it's one of the best. It's perfect. It was perfect down to the last minute details. That's how I feel about Spider-Man 2. It's such a good movie. You can never go wrong with Spider-Man 2. It's amazing. The next, Spider-Man 3. This one is still good, but, you know, of course, not as good as the first two. And that sun is rising, so we're going to get some good natural light as I'm filming this. But I also watched Spider-Man 3 a lot. We didn't have 2 for some reason. We had Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 3, but we didn't have 2. And so I would watch Spider-Man 1, mostly Spider-Man 1, but then I'd also watch a lot of 3 as well. So this one's also kind of nostalgic for me. But all things considered, it's not that bad. I mean, I think there's a lot of villains going on. And this is something that everyone says, there's a lot of villains, but there really was. Because we had, what, Venom, Sandman, and Hobgoblin at the same time. And luckily there wasn't like all 3 of them at the same time. And that ending part at the construction site with Sandman and Venom, that was, oh, I hope that doesn't come out super loud. Like, that was pretty cool, that final that final boss fight was pretty cool. And oh man, because Spider-Man and Hobgoblin, they both teamed up on Venom and Sandman. That was pretty cool. You can't lie, that fight was pretty cool. And then, you know, we got Bully Maguire from that movie too. And honestly, I thought the whole symbiote thing was pretty cool to see in a movie. I know we're getting it in the game in a couple weeks, but all things considered, it's really not as bad as people say. I am gonna throw it in the B tier, but still, I still do enjoy it. If someone said, hey, do you want to watch Spider-Man 3? I'd go, heck yeah, I want to watch Spider-Man 3. It's a good movie. I enjoy it. Now, these next two are going to be pretty controversial. So, I already gushed about how much I enjoy Andrew's movies. So, I'm going to throw The Amazing Spider-Man. I'm pretty sure I just said 3 is in B tier. Anyway, 3's in B, if I forgot to say that. Anyway, The Amazing Spider-Man, I'm going S tier. Because it's personally, once again, it's gonna trigger a lot of people. I'm sorry. The Amazing Spider-Man is my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. I think Andrew Garfield does a great job as Peter and Spider-Man. Emma Stone does a good job as Gwen Stacy. I think the Lizard was cool to see. I thought the Lizard was a pretty good starting villain. I don't know why. It kind of felt like Green Goblin was kind of a lot because he was kind of OP. Because at least with the Lizard, it's just like giant lizard guy. There's not too much there. But then with Green Goblin, it's like he has the glider and these pumpkin bombs and he's just an overall menace to society. It's like if I just became a superhero and I had to deal with that, I'd be like, wow, that is like too much for me. But don't get me wrong, the Lizard still was intense, dude. That one scene where Emma Stone was like hiding in the closet in Oscorp and the Lizard was just walking by, and then that like piano played while that was like a horror film right there. That was a horror film. But anyway, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I felt like the Lizard was a better starting villain. And then I honestly just the personality that the directors gave Peter Parker seems to fit Spider-Man a bit more, because with Tobey, he was like this awkward nerdy kid who kind of just became Spider-Man, and now randomly he's super confident, throws out these quips, and it's like, well, based on what I've seen from you so far, that doesn't seem like the kind of personality you'd pull off. But then with Andrew, he was kind of like that at the beginning, just cranked up to 11 when he's Spider-Man, and it makes a lot more sense for him. Not saying that it doesn't work for Tobey, I'm just saying it makes a lot more sense with Andrew. And you know, the movies, I thought the comedy was funnier. Peter literally just he goes, I'm gonna throw you out a window now, and just throws Gwen. That's hilarious. But yeah, overall, favorite Spider-Man movie. The game we got out of it, The Amazing Spider-Man on Xbox 360, that was pretty good too. But yeah, people aren't going to be happy with me, but The Amazing Spider-Man, best Spider-Man movie. I'm sorry, guys. That's just how I feel. The next, this one's really going to get people going. I'm putting The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in A tier. I do think, kind of like with Spider-Man 3, there was a lot of villains going on, but it kind of seemed to work a little bit better, because with Electro, I will say Electro is kind of wonky, because Max just like wasn't in love with Spider-Man until Spider-Man saved him one time, and he's like, okay, I love this guy now. And then when he became Electro, he just randomly was like, oh, you guys don't care about me, now I'm angry. It's like, dude, you are having like a lot of shifts in personality here. I'm not sure, getting whiplash from all the 180s you're taking here. He was still a good villain though. He could have just been not explored better. He could have been developed better, portrayed better. He could have been portrayed better is what I'm trying to say. Not saying what we got was like completely awful, it was super bad, but like I said, he had a lot of personality changes so quickly. It was like, whoa, hard to get a feel of where he's supposed to be as a character. But with Green Goblin, I think it makes a lot more sense because Harry has this disease and he thinks Spider-Man's blood can cure him because apparently Spider-Man can just heal from illnesses super quickly. And then just out of spite, he injects himself with this like prototype serum and he's like, Spider-Man, I'm stronger than you now. Grr, throw him up. So that makes a little bit more sense. Speaking of, dude, Peter just killed Electro. Like, he didn't like try to subdue him or contain it. No, he straight up just killed him in that movie. I don't think Andrew has the no killing rule. We just so happened to see him not kill people. But then there is the other stuff, like the main theme for TASM 2 is really good. I thought the cinematography was really good as well. The CGI was perfect. Like, when he was those swinging scenes were absolutely magnificent. They were like the best swinging I've ever seen in a Spider-Man movie. They were great. But as like he was doing like the skydive thing, you could like see his suit kind of like fold and flap in the wind. Like, it was just all so good. And then the suit, I do prefer the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit, but the TASM 2 suit is still super, super good. It looks really great. Overall, I just love this movie. It was a really good movie. Once again, it could be nostalgia, but even then, I watched it a couple months ago, and I was like, yeah, no, it's still just pretty good. So, that's just what I thought. I think the TASM movies are severely underrated. Just enjoy them for what they are. And they are good movies. So, next we have, which one is this? Homecoming? Fun fact, Homecoming came out on my birthday, but I didn't get to watch it on my birthday because my mom was at work. So, that's fun. Still, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Spider-Man movie on my birthday, we'll take it. You love to see it. This one, I'm also going to give it the A tier. It was a really solid movie. I thought the plot was really good. Tom Holland is a good Spider-Man. I think he does a really good job as well. I like the suit. The Homecoming suit is pretty cool too. Just like TASM 2, I thought TASM 2, I thought the cinematography was really well done. And the characters were cool. I like Ned. Ned is such a goober. I love that man. And unlike Tobey Maguire, Tom actually got a good MJ. So that's good. And yeah, just overall, just a really good, solid movie. I haven't watched it. No, I haven't seen it since my birthday, honestly. I watched it the one time, and that was years ago. I haven't seen that movie in years. But from what I remember, it's a really solid movie. I feel like people are going to comment, you didn't watch all the movies before you made the video? No, I didn't. Man, I don't really have time for that anymore. Got school and work. Anyway, next is Far From Home. Out of all the Tom Holland movies, this one is personally my least favorite because it's Far From Home. It's called Far From Home because he went to Italy and then Europe, I think. I don't know. I haven't watched that movie in about a year. Yeah, it's called Far From Home, but in movie time, he was away from home for like an hour, and then he came back for the final showdown. So it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you were gone. You did come back, so weren't that far from home. Because he just came back to New York City for the final battle. It's like, I thought the whole point of this movie was you weren't in New York, but now you're back. Whatever. Anyway, just this movie, it just wasn't really my thing. So I'm gonna have to give it the C tier. I am sorry. Unlike how Homecoming with A, this one just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I can't properly explain it. I just wasn't jamming with it all that much. I just really wasn't. And I thought having Mysterio was Mysterio's a cool villain. I'm glad he finally had a movie. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it. It was still good. I still enjoyed it, but not nearly as much as all the other movies on this list. So But anyway, I don't know if anyone's gonna agree with me on that. Probably not. But that's just what I thought about the movie. The next, nope, that's No Way Home. No Way Home, I'm gonna give it a B tier because it was flippin' awesome to see Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come back in a Spider-Man movie. Just the plot definitely had some holes. There was a lot of plot holes and things that didn't get explained very well, and like rules that didn't make a lot of sense, like how all the villains came back because they knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man, but then it's like, well, Electro didn't know that Andrew was Spider-Man. Like, even when, like, what was he, like, Peter 3? Even when Peter 3 removed his mask, Electro was like, honestly, I thought you were gonna be black. So it's like, he didn't even know that Peter was Spider-Man, so... And then he just looks completely different. He's just a regular guy instead of being the blue guy that he was. They didn't explain that. Just overall, the movie had a lot of flaws. Like, if you really dig in deep, it had a lot of flaws. But if you just look at it like, all 3 Spider-Men are here, and they are fighting everybody, and that is awesome. Like, then it's like the best Spider-Man movie ever made. But all things considered, I think B tier is pretty accurate, just because of all the flaws it had. Don't get me wrong, it is still, like, amazing to see every Spider... And I love that scene when they're on the scaffolding. It's like, so you just make your web fluid in your body. Like, that whole thing. It's like, yes, give me more of that. I just want them talking for hours. It would be amazing. But still, I liked the movie. I enjoyed the movie. It was still good. Just all the plot holes and the writing, like, inconsistencies was kind of like, that doesn't make sense. I don't get it. But that was just me, personally. And then, next up, Into the Spider-Verse, an instant classic. Who can hate on Into the Spider-Verse? It was such a good movie. This has, like, nothing to do with anything. I think it's super cool that we finally have a black Spider-Man as the main character. I know we're kind of, like, it's a bit more normal now because we have, you know, Miles Morales, like the game, the Spider-Man game, Miles Morales, and then we have Into the Spider-Verse and Beyond the Spider-Verse. And it's kind of just being normal. It's being normalized now. But still, like, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I think it's so cool that we finally have a black Spider-Man as the main character. I don't know if that's going to make this political or not, but I just think it's super cool. So, I'm going to throw this movie into the A tier. It's still, not because it's, like, worse than, well, no, it's not worse, but still, it's a really solid movie, had a solid soundtrack, Sunflower. The other songs, really, I know there are other songs, but I forget. And, you know, I think not only just having a black Spider-Man is cool, it's also cool to explore, like, other spider people who have different powers and different, like, situations that they're going through. Like, I was blown away when Miles could turn invisible. I was like, he can just do that? He can just turn invisible like that? That's amazing. That's wild. That's crazy. But yeah, it's cool to see just other spider people. And I know we've gotten Spider-Gwen. Like, I think powers-wise, she's, like, the exact same as Peter Parker. But still, it's cool to explore just other spider people. I'll get more into this in our next pick with Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm sure this is going to surprise no one. Beyond the Spider-Verse is getting an S tier, baby. Like, I said Beyond the Spider-Verse. Across the Spider-Verse. We don't have Beyond the Spider-Verse yet. But yeah, Across the Spider-Verse. An amazing film. I saw it in theaters. It was so good. I love the characters, the music, the return of, you know, Gwen and Peter B. Parker, I think you're supposed to call him. Like, the Peter Parker from the old movie, the one that didn't die. Just, like, all those returning characters. And that chase scene with all the other spider people are like trying to get him, and then there's Spider Cat and Spider T-Rex, and I thought like, and that Lego scene, but with Lego Spider-Man, just like, all of it. It was like just amazing. It was all amazing, and it was all beautiful, and I loved it every second. I was heartbroken when I saw that to be continued, but other than that, it's perfect. Down to the last minute details. It was perfect. A beautiful cinematic masterpiece. And then, we can't forget the music that came out of it. Mona Lisa by Damien Fike. All the songs that Metro Boom did. I forget their names, but there was one song, it was like, tryna love himself, tryna love me, cook me. I forget what that one's called. I'm sorry, I'm not good with names. But yeah, Mona Lisa was like my favorite. I'm just getting so overwhelmed by it. There's a lot of things I want to say, but okay, first of all, what I'm gonna say, Mona Lisa, it's like one of my favorite songs of all time, genuinely. Like, I see those memes, like that one meme format with like the person holding up the sign, like, your music saves my life. Like, I remember I used to see things like that when I was younger, and I was like, geez, it's just music. It couldn't have like been that inspirational. But when Mona Lisa starts playing by Damien Fike, I feel like I can take over the world. That song just gets me so pumped. I love it, genuinely. And then all the other music, Metro Boom does a really good job. I'm gonna go. I have a playlist on YouTube of the Spider-Man songs. I'm gonna look at them though, because I want to remember their names. Am I Dreaming? Am I Dreaming was amazing. Calling. I love Calling. I can hear your voice calling me. Oh, it's so good. So Self-Love. That's what it was. I love Self-Love. That one was so good. Just, yeah, like I said, all the music and Beyond This, I did it again, and Across the Spider-Verse, it was all so good. It was all amazing. You know what, just for fun, let's throw in the Venom movies in here too. I was originally going to leave out the Venom movies because Spider-Man isn't in it, but for fun, let's just throw them in there. But yeah, like I said, Across the Spider-Verse, if you have not, I'm going to throw this in real quick. If you have not seen Across the Spider-Verse, I say watch Into the Spider-Verse just so you can get some context of the story and the characters. It's not mandatory, but it's still a good movie. I recommend you watch anyway. But watch Into the Spider-Verse, then watch Across the Spider-Verse. I guarantee you that movie is going to melt itself into the cracks of your heart and stay with you for the rest of your life. I love Across the Spider-Verse, man. Anyway, if I were to rank my top 3 favorite Spider-Man movies, I'm going Chasm, Spider-Man 2, Across the Spider-Verse. So, yeah. None of these, whenever I do tier lists, I never like put them in order. Sometimes I do. If I'm not making a video about it. When I'm just like posting a picture of a tier list, I'll put it in order. But when I'm making a video, I'll just throw it in the tier. So, but yeah. Maybe one day I should just like actually number all of them. That'd be kind of cool. Maybe I'll edit that in at the end of this video, just so you guys could see. But anyway, back to the tier list. Venom 1. I watched this movie about a year ago, and I watched Venom 2 before I watched Venom 1. My bad. But yeah, Venom 1, it was good. It just wasn't as interesting, and I am comparing it to Venom 2, which is probably like the first problem, but it wasn't as interesting as Venom 2, and the comedy, I think I'm focusing on the comedy a little bit too much, but the comedy wasn't like as funny as Venom 2, and the fight scenes were not as cool, and the CGI was a little wonky in some of the parts, and the characters really didn't like grab me as much. I mean, all the actors still did a good job, but I'm not saying that their performances were bad. I'm just saying, like, everything that was going on, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Uh-huh. Yeah. It didn't grab me all that much. So, I'm gonna throw Venom 1 in C tier. I'm sorry if there's any hardcore Venom fans. But Venom 2 was like a massive step up. I started with Venom 2, so, but still, just comparing those two, Venom 2 was infinitely better. I thought the comedy was better. I thought the writing was better. Carnage, just being there was awesome. And I love when they first see Carnage, like, oh no, that's a red one. That was pretty funny. And the fight scenes were cooler because, you had these two, like, just unbeatable titans going at it. I don't know if that's, like, the proper term to use. Like, just these big hulking menaces going at each other, and it was so cool. It was just an overall much better film, in my opinion. And I'm going to put it in A tier for that one. I say watch Venom 1 for the context for Venom 2. Venom 2, at least in my opinion, was a much superior film than Venom 1. And then there's also Morbius in this list, but I actually haven't seen Morbius. So, but if I had, I would imagine this one's an S tier. I would imagine it gets a tier above literally every other movie. But I'll watch Morbius one day. But yeah, that is the tier list. Yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm more curious about the comments. I'm wondering what the comments are gonna say, because people get really defensive and stuff about like their favorite Spider-Man movies. There's definitely gonna be some like, well, actually, Far From Home is better than you think because A, B, and C. And I'm gonna get like bricks thrown through my window and all that fun jazz. But I just want to do this because I love Spider-Man. I enjoy doing these tier list videos. They don't do too bad. They get a decent amount of views, so I imagine you guys like watching them too. And I just figured, Spider-Man 2 is on the way. I would love to do a video about Spider-Man 2 in the future when that when that game comes out. I might stream some of it. I don't really use Twitch, but I might stream some of it. So, but yeah, that's the tier list. Tell me what you guys thought down in the comments. Definitely gonna be a lot of angry people with my choices, I can imagine. But hey, just comes with the territory. But yeah, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you all later.